This is America in Space, a weekly news and information program on current events dealing with the space industry.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor. There will be several firsts happening with the launch of Crew 9, which is currently no earlier than September the 24th, 2024. The US Space Force, which is part of the Department of Air Force, will be launching one of their own active service members from their own Launch Complex 40 on Cape Canaveral Space Force Base for the first time ever. Today, most astronaut launches take place from the NASA-run Kennedy Space Center Launch Pad 39A. The only recent launch from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station was the crew flight test for Boeing's Starliner spacecraft, which launched June 5, 2024. Prior to that, the last astronaut launch to take place at Cape Canaveral, then known as Cape Kennedy Air Force Station, was the October 11, 1968 launch of Apollo 7, which was the first crewed flight of NASA's Apollo program. The Crew 9 astronauts will launch from the Space Launch Complex 40 at the Canaveral Air Force Station due to launch pad availability. When Nick Hague, the Crew 9 commander, launches to the International Space Station, he will be making history on behalf of the newest branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, the Space Force, as the first active Space Force Guardian to launch to the International Space Station. Here are his words about the mission.
So it's an honor for me to be able to represent all those Guardians that are around the globe that do all those things behind the scenes that make human spaceflight possible, whether that's launching us into space or it's protecting us while we're up there by watching the skies and making sure things don't run into us. There's so many things that they do on a daily basis that make it possible. And so to represent them and to be part of the astronaut corps as a member of the Space Force. The other services have active duty astronauts as well. And so this is really just another step that the service is taking in terms of establishing itself as a service. And yes, we're doing the same things the other services are doing. And so I'm thrilled to be able to take the torch from Mike and continue to represent in space.
Hague was quick to note that though while part of the astronaut corps, he is not actively working Space Force missions. He said, just because I'm Space Force doesn't mean I have a Space Force project that I'm going to be doing out there. I work for NASA conducting the civil space mission. The Space Force service members are known as Guardians. So what is a Space Force Guardian? According to the U.S. Space Force's mission statement, the service is responsible for organizing, training, and equipping Guardians to conduct global space operations that enhance the way our joint and coalition forces fight while offering decision-makers military options to achieve national objectives. Guardians are selected from top performers in their field, which include information technology experts, cybersecurity specialists, communication system professionals, and leaders in space system operations. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for listening from your home or where you work. And wherever you listen, be sure to like and follow us. Listen each Tuesday for This Week in Space with John Gomez. And join me every Friday for America in Space. From the Florida Space Coast, I'm Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor for About Space Today.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to share our program with your family and friends and follow us on Facebook. Join us each week for news and information on America in Space.